Hey guys, what is up? It is Raul here today, and today I'm talking about a book that I've just very recently read, and very recently, like I probably literally finished it this morning, 4 or 5 hours ago. The book is called Why Winners Win. It is by Gary Pittard. It's like an awesome book. I think people talk about reading a lot, and like we all know it's something that we should do, and we should like further our own education and put good thoughts in our head. But it's definitely something that you can just, before you know it, like stop doing, especially in like I guess today's age where you can consume so much content and knowledge through things like audio or visual. It can be easy to forget to read, but this is definitely a book that I found that I picked up and I couldn't put down. Maybe because I found it really relevant just in where I'm at right now in life and what I'm trying to get better at. To give some context, why did this title speak to me? Why Winners Win? Recently, I've decided to want to improve and further my own education as far as being a coach is concerned, and into how can I get better performance out of the people that ask me to coach them. And that's delved me into re-looking into psychology and a lot of those sort of things. And the title just, I don't know, I guess spoke to me. I guess anyone who has a goal and is going towards something is someone who wants to be a winner. They want to win their goal. They want to win their achievement. And being a winner, so much of that is a mindset, but it's also, I guess, a set of habits and actions that I think we can all kind of repeat, take, and do. So what I really liked about this book is that it had lots of actionable things that you could look at, diagrams, and then you could, I guess, place your own life into that, or business, or whatever it is you're doing, or goal. So if this is, I guess, a bit more specific to you, it would be maybe specific to training and fitness, right? So there's this quick section in the book when I need to find, which is about goals, like as in it breaks down your goals very well, and it kind of talks about why it's bad not to have goals, and a good approach to being able to actually achieving your goals. So the book kind of breaks down into four really good steps that I think that maybe things that but things that you don't ever maybe stop and think about, right? So we're gonna go through them and then maybe think about some examples and think about whether maybe your goals fall under some of these or they don't fall under some of these, and if not, maybe readjusting your goals so it's more achievable, and then if you can achieve it, then you can keep moving further along that goal. So long story short, it's broken down to 4 parts. One is goals being specific, measurable, achievable, and realistic, and time bound, which is the last one. So a lot of people's goals aren't specific. So this could be, somebody says, I want to lose weight, or I want to become a better athlete, or I want my business to succeed, or I want to climb Mount Everest, or I want to, climbing Mount Everest is a terrible example. I want to be stronger, I want to be fitter, I want to be successful, I want to be happy, I want to be, etc. Insert emotion. And it's not specific in the sense that, can you quantify that? So for example, if somebody says they want to lose weight, like, what does that mean? Do they know exactly how much weight they want to lose? So like, if you want to lose weight, do you want to lose 5 kilos, 10 kilos, 15 kilos? Do you want to get to 5% body fat? Do you want to get to 10% body fat? Do you want to see a 6-pack? Like, what does that actually mean? And if you can't put a concrete definition around that, then you might get there and not be happy and not know if you got there at the end, because you've never actually stopped to think about, like, what number do I have to see? What does it look like for me to be content with me achieving that goal? So being more specific about your goals, I think, is a huge thing. If you wanted to get stronger, what time frame does that mean? Do you want to be stronger in 12 weeks time, or do you want to be stronger tomorrow? Do you want to be stronger next year? Because if you don't have those timelines around your goals, then again, it can be hard to know whether you're achieving them or not. Or maybe you say you want to be stronger, but what does that mean? Does that mean you want to be able to lift more weights? Or does that mean that you want to be able to do more muscle ups, or be able to feel strong enough on your handstand that you can handstand walk? All those things are different, and if we don't specify them, then it can definitely be challenging to know whether we're improving or not. The second one is goals being measurable. So can you measure a goal? So somebody who says they want to lose weight, the goal can definitely be measured with weight loss. You know, can you jump on a scale and see that the scale has changed? Can you do measurements on your body to see whether your body is going in one direction or not? Are you attached to that number going up or down? And do you understand how long it's actually going to take for that number to go up and down? The same thing applies to strength. If you want to be stronger, like you retest continually to see if you're actually improving. Do you go by feel, like you feel strong, or do you go by like, no, like now I can lift more weight than I could 12 weeks ago if you follow like a squat program or something along the lines of that. The third point is goals being realistic. Like, are you realistic about your goal? You know, if a goal isn't realistic, then it can be really simple to lose motivation for it. So if your goal is to, let's say that you're very overweight and your goal is to lose 70 kilos, and you don't lose 70 kilos in a year, like you could have worked your ass off and maybe you only lost 40 kilos in that year, right? Like it might be unrealistic for you to think that you can lose 70 kilos in a year. Maybe you want to be more wealthy in life and successful, and you want to be wealthy, right? Like you want to one day be a millionaire. And maybe you increase your, I don't know, how much you make a year, like you double it, right? Maybe you're still really far from being a millionaire, but maybe you're twice as wealthy as you used to be. Maybe now it's easier to pay your bills. Maybe now you can take an extra holiday that you couldn't take before. Same sort of thing, like, can you be realistic about your goal? Like, can you actually set it in a time frame that allows you to stay motivated? And a good way of thinking about this would be, rather than thinking too far ahead, like thinking like, okay, if I want to lose weight, how much weight could I actually lose in this month? You know, right now you're not losing any weight. So maybe if you lost 2 kilos in this coming month, you would do a lot better than if you lost no weight in the coming month, you know? And then you keep nice and steady progress like that. And if you continue that for a long time, then you have quite a big amount of progress being achieved. So being realistic about those goals. Is your goal, is it achievable? So if your goal isn't achievable, it's really easy to lose focus and lose motivation. So maybe you want to be better at basketball, but your goal is that you want to go to the NBA, right? Maybe that's not achievable, and if you're not at the NBA in a month, you might feel discouraged because you haven't achieved your goal. But like, it just might not be realistic with where you're at in the progression of what you're doing in life. Like, you have to go through different steps and phases to get to where you want to get to long term. So that's another thing that I think is really important and worth thinking about. So making sure that it's achievable. Maybe you want to have a 6-pack, but you're at 35% body fat right now. Like, you probably could have a 6-pack eventually, but you need to deal with a lot of weight loss before you actually even think about that 6-pack. Like, that's far away in long term, and if that's the main goal that you have, it's probably going to be too far away to actually keep you motivated to keep going over and over again. And actual day-to-day motivation is really important if you have a long-term goal. And the last one is your goal time-bound, or is it not time-bound? So if someone's goal is not time-bound, they might feel like it's not important to not stick to the plan this month because they can just focus on it again next month. Or they might feel like it doesn't matter if their progress is slow progress because they aren't time-bound. So it doesn't matter how long it's going to take to get to where they want to get to. And the problem with that is that, again, motivation might go down, then you might try less hard, or life might get in the way, so you don't put pressure on yourself to try and actually achieve your goal and make it happen no matter what happens your way. There's all these things that come into it. So I guess if we refresh to those things, it would be making sure that your goals are specific, making sure that they're measurable. Can you measure them? Are they achievable? Are they realistic? And have you made yourself accountable to a timeline of when you're going to achieve it by? Because that's probably like one of the biggest keys. If you take anything away from this video, set a timeline by when you want to achieve a goal, and you're probably, I don't know, 50% more likely to actually get closer to that, to achieving that goal than what you would be right now if you had no timeline set. And something else that they don't talk about here, it's like, understand why you're doing what you're doing. If you understand why you're doing what you're doing, it becomes a lot easier to not let yourself get away with negative self-talk, doubt, get away with, a lack of accountability for yourself, like feeling like you have forever to try and achieve it. If you fully understand why you're doing what you're doing, that's really, I think, a big underlying factor underneath all these other points that were brought up in this book. So goal setting, it's important. Set some goals, make sure that you can measure them, make sure they're specific, be realistic, and make sure that you give yourself a deadline to when to achieve it by. Like, worst comes to worst, you get closer to achieving it. Maybe you don't accomplish it, but you're 3/4 of the way there. So anyway, that's all I had to share for today, guys. The book was called Why Winners Win. And I hope you enjoyed this video and you got something to take away from it. Take care and peace.